Alright, this time we are riding the Scout Rogue. The obvious difference is going to be the handlebars, so we have these little mini apes going on. This kind of reminds me of the position almost exactly that the Harley-Davidson Sportster 1200 put me in. This is just a much girthier motorcycle and obviously more power. Feels very, very nice. I like the little windscreen that's on it. I would say just coming off of the regular Scout Bobber with those smaller handlebars, I like them, but I definitely like this better. And I believe it's because my hands are right along with my shoulders right now, and that feels freaking perfect. I feel like I could roll like this for hours. And then of course now we got that visor, a little upgrade in price, a slight difference from just the regular Bobber to the Rogue. The mirrors are much easier to see just simply because they're higher up. And a huge difference from the regular Scout Bobber to this Rogue is going to be that seat. I feel like I am being sucked into this seat right now. So now I don't feel like I'm going to go flying off if I give her a little gas. So that's pretty freaking rad. Position, fantastic, love it. This is definitely the bigger engine. It is not the little 60. The little 60 is a 5-speed. The same with the Scout Bobber. I guess the Bobber and the Rogue, they both have a 60, which means that it's just a little less power and only have a 5-gear transmission. So this next step up is definitely worth it, in my opinion, to get that 6th gear. But right off the bat, first impression, seating position, way freaking better. This is comfortable. I feel I could do this for hours versus the Bobber I felt a little more aggressive on. And then even with the Bobber, I scraped the pegs on that thing. I probably would pretty easily scrape the pegs on this. I guarantee you they're probably the same height. They do feel a little bit farther forward than the Bobber did. I could be wrong, but they feel a little bit farther forward. My knees feel like they're at a little more of a bend, and that might just be simply the seating position. The Bobber seating position was back there a little bit farther, so it made me feel like I was really tacoed. And in this position, I feel like I'm a little bit more upright, and then obviously these handlebars are considerably higher. Oh yeah, but definitely has the power of that Bobber, so yeah. We do have that 69 cubic inch V2, which is that's pretty good size, man. I don't think you got to compare that bad boy. She's got enough. She feels pretty good leaned over. I mean, that's slow speed leaned over, but feels pretty dang good. No complaints. I mean, I would maybe kind of be a little nervous about the whole freaking smaller fuel tank, 3.3 gallon. I don't know how far and how long we can go. Oh yeah, see, I can give her beans and not go flying off the back. That feels much better. Yeah, and then that wind, just this little tiny fairing, guys, that makes a huge difference. That and honestly the aesthetics look better in my opinion, just having that front mirror. This is kind of cheesy. Obviously these are loose and falling off, but that's probably just demo ride people freaking smacking into stuff and dropping stuff. I wouldn't blame the bike for that. Consistent heavy usage or misusage. But back to the whole gearing again, like I don't feel like I'm lugging it. I can choose whatever gear I want and it feels fine. I don't feel like I'm gonna lug out the bike. That was definitely a big thing with me in the Harleys. Like I really felt like if I wasn't in the Harley's desired gear at that desired RPM range, it was letting me know like, hey mofo, you need to shit. This bike, like my Ninja 400, man, doesn't matter what gear you're in, the thing just rides. That's a pretty terrible comparison, my bad, but the gearing it's just linear to where you can actually use the majority of that gear range with its RPM range, the way the power is utilized in the bike. It's good. No complaints. I like it. It definitely feels a little bit more playful. I wonder why that is. It does have a bigger front tire, which in my opinion usually leads to a less enjoyable experience with a little aggressive riding, but it doesn't feel bad at all. It's actually pretty nice, pretty easy to lean over. It's got a good feel to it. It isn't a very heavy bike at 525 pounds. That's not too bad. Yeah, definitely, obviously you don't feel that while you're riding. But I'll have to look up the fuel spec for you guys. I'll put that up here. Depending on the fuel mileage this thing gets, the 3.3 gallon tank would be that's pretty damn small, guys. That is not a lot of fuel. I'm assuming they're probably pushing around like most sport bikes do, around 150 mile range. I never like that. I always want just a little bit more. I'd love bikes to go like 200, but it is what it is. Oh yeah, there's the pickup. Yep. Still go. But definitely more comfortable, more of a cruiser status than that bobber was. And like I said, I'm not flying off the back of the seat cranking the throttle, so that's fantastic. Price wise, it looks like they're fairly close, similar price wise, depending on the kind of stuff you want to put on the bike or get for the bike. I am definitely going to lean towards this over the bobber for sure. And I don't know if that's just the design of the Rogue on how they're doing the seat, but in my opinion, much, much better. And if anything, I feel like I can turn this bike over farther. I wonder if it's the rake. Maybe the rake is different on the Rogue than the bobber. Oh yeah, she goes. Plenty of power. So I am definitely leaning 100% towards Rogue over bobber for sure. Just the ride quality, the ride feel, the control of the bike, the fact that we have these little mini apes in this windscreen, and I'm sure they do a lot of this to the bobber too. I bet that would be something worth checking out, but I don't know, man. That seat is amazing, and yeah, I agree, seats are seats, you can just swap them out, but I hate buying a motorcycle that just comes with stuff I need to change immediately. Oh yeah, Jesus. Oh yeah, she got enough in there. Yep. Damn, I'm glad we got the other pole in. Get another one in. Oh yeah. Oh, she zips pretty good. So there we go. 70 miles an hour, cruising. My arms, my legs, they feel it. My face, my chest, nah, they're good to go. That little visor is plenty for it. I like it. I like it a lot. This is definitely my choice over the bobber, for sure. Much better all-around motorcycle in my opinion. I don't know when they came out with the Rogue, because when I was looking last, they did not have a Rogue. I think this is a good upgrade. A good choice. We've got to get a picture of this beautiful beast real quick before we get on out of here. Once again, I hate how kickstands down don't shut off bikes. Yep, I'm just showing you guys I'm a sport bike guy. Damn, that thing is sexy though. It is a good looking bike, guys. Definitely not a terrible choice at all. If I was going in between a Harley and this, no doubt. No thank you, Harley. I've enjoyed you in the past, but this guy, I think, is a way better choice. I like the styling of the rims too, very cool. And the exhaust, even though it's all fake overlays, it looks pretty damn nice. But a good dashboard too, nothing crazy here. We got our RPMs, we got our speedo. There is no fuel gauge, but at least we do have a gear select indicator. I still wish all bikes would just give you all of those things. They just don't seem... Doesn't seem to me like it's worth shortchanging like a fuel gauge. Like, I know most of the fuel gauges on motorcycles, they suck anyway, but it still helps. One of these days we will not want for those things anymore, because they're all going to be yeah, electronic. They're all going to be electric. You don't need a fuel gauge, but I bet you'll have a power gauge, so come on, get with the times. Oh, there we go. Okay, so suspension, that's pretty janky. Those little bumps I'm hitting, I'm feeling the hell out of it. So I would definitely say the suspension would have to be adjusted. It is very, very firm. I mean, it's soaking up a little bit, but not as much as I had expected. I did not notice the bobber slamming me around like that. So that's something worth noting too, looking into, is you definitely got to ride them both before you go. I definitely prefer this bike over the bobber so far, but this was the first instance where suspension is a little bit tight. But that, you know, that could be adjusted. In fact, You know, most of the time we buy motorcycles and we don't even think about adjusting the suspension. We just go, oh, this is a great bike with great suspension. Yeah, it probably, you know, oh yeah, she definitely needs to be adjusted to my chunky ass, for sure. Oh yeah, see, I wouldn't even want to hit that aggressive with the way the bumps are. Yeah, slamming me around pretty damn good. So who is this motorcycle for? This is, like I say, on almost every motorcycle. This is not a beginner bike, guys, not at all. You need to find something a little more, less aggressive, less powerful, less weird stance to be in while riding. While you're doing slow corner turning and stuff like that, this is a little more nerve-wracking than maybe something like a Z400 or something you can learn on and ride pretty easily. And, you know, just be good at riding a motorcycle before you get into these weird styles and positions would make a big difference for you, for sure. Oh yeah, feel that power though, that rear end. It's like it wants to slide. Freaking awesome. Some decent brakes. They're okay. They're a little squishy. So last little tidbit. This bike is more comfortable. The seat's better. The handlebars are better. To me, this is a more rounded, better motorcycle than the Bobber. However, the difference, I don't know if there's a difference in suspension. I'll go ahead and look it up for you guys and I'll put it up here. But if there's a difference in suspension, that Bobber feels way the hell better. It felt a lot more aggressive. I felt like I could ride it more aggressive than I could ride this. This feels better tipping in than it does. But just the sheer slamming around on this thing made it feel a little less inspiring if you're riding a little aggressive on back roads. But like I said, that could be something that is purely just an adjustment. So thanks again for watching, guys. I am looking forward to getting some kind of cruiser within my little stable, and I'll ride as many as I possibly can and share it with you guys. So thanks again, and I'll see you next week. Peace. Let's go, Josh. Damn it, I'm totally missing the races. Last ride for the day, and we are watching the races.
Been on the podium twice. Nice guy. Goes up underneath there and hits the turn six. And look at now what's going to happen.
Very cool.